Alright, so in the key of C, C major, we got C, D, E, F, G, A, B. And then C again if you want to write down the entirety. So, how do we create harmony with this? Melody being one note at the same time, harmony being several notes at the same time. So how do we create good sounding harmony? Well, there's a basic rule of thumb, which says you need to play 1, 3, 5 to create a chord, right? A chord. And this would be C major. The symbol for it, if you would see it written down, would be C, just basic C. If we don't add any other information, we assume we're talking about a major chord. However, there are much more notes and we can play many more chords. So how to get chords to sound good together? Well, instead of taking 1, 3, 5, starting on the 1, we can take 1, 3, 5, starting on 2. What I mean by that is we can take these notes. This will result in D minor, which you would write like this with a little m, generally speaking. And then next you would get E minor, F, you could get G at some point. If I were to play this chord progression, give me a second, it'll sound like this. So, sounds like music to me. However, why is that one minor? Why is it not major? How do we calculate this? So, C major has the note C, E, G. This is a distance of 2 whole tones, which is a major third. And this is a distance of 3.5 tones, which is a perfect fifth. Whereas in the case of D minor, we got D, F, A. If you start calculating this, you'll see that this again is 3.5 tones, so there's still a perfect fifth, but we don't have a major third. We have 1.5 tone, which is a minor third. So let me write this down for you. So here's what you end up with. A minor third being 1.5 tone, major third being 2 tones. A perfect fifth, 3.5 tones, which means a perfect fifth is major third plus minor third, right? Because 1.5 plus 2 equals 3.5. So that distance is the same as those two added together. So you can see between C and E we got 2 tones, a major third, but between E and G we got 1.5 tone, a minor third. And it's the exact other way around for D minor, 1.5 tone from D to F, but from F to A we got 2 tones. Alright? So that's the difference between a major and a minor chord. A major chord, in terms of chords here, a major chord has a 1, a 3, and a 5. A minor has a 1, a flat 3, and a 5. The reason I use this notation is because we're always referencing major. So if major is just 1, 3, 5, then minor has a lowered third, compared to major. I'm going to do this a lot, so let's get used to this notation. Last thing I want to write down for you is which chords fit into one key. Okay, so the 1 chord is C major, that's the first chord, the 1 chord, the 2 is D minor, the 3 is E minor, this is how we pronounce these things, the 4th chord is F, the 5th is G, the 6th is A minor, the 7th is different. This symbol, this little circle here, it's supposed to be a circle, is a diminished chord, or a symbol for a diminished chord. Why is it diminished? Why is it different? Well, from B to D, we have 1.5 tone, and from D to F as well. So the distance from B to F is not 3.5, it's 3. So that's not a perfect fifth, it's a diminished fifth. And in pop music, you hear that chord almost never. It's different in jazz, but in pop music it's very rare to hear that chord, because that diminished fifth, this is what major sounds like. This is what minor sounds like. And here's diminished. Do you feel invited to sing a pretty melody over this diminished chord? It can be really heart-wrenchingly beautiful. It really can be. Put in the right context, a diminished chord can be amazing. But generally speaking, when we just press it flat, so to speak, it's not the most stable chord. And so for pop music, it doesn't lend itself very well. So usually you only see these. We can give these chords symbols, as in this is the 1, the 2, the 3, capital letters and small ones, the 4, the 5, the 6, the 7. The diminished symbol is optional as far as I'm concerned, and then we're back at 1. Why would we do that? Well, this notation tells us whether a chord is major or minor, or whether it's the first, second, third, fifth, sixth, seventh in a key, which means this notation is separate from keys. We can now look at a chord progression, say the one I played earlier, C, D minor, G, C. That's 1, 2, 5, 1. And now we can easily, or well, relatively easily, transpose this to a different key. Instead of C, let's play those same chords, 1, 2, 5, 1, in the key of, let's say, A flat. In the key of A flat, this would be B flat minor, and this would be E flat. So if you can learn to think in terms of these numbers, you can think independently of key, but more importantly, we don't have absolute hearing, at least most people don't. I think the number is something like 1 in 10,000, but don't pin me down on that one. It's a relatively small amount of people that have absolute hearing. Absolute hearing meaning, if I play this, you can hear whether that's A, B, C, D, E, F, or G, or anything in between. I can't. I, like you probably, have relative pitch. We hear in a relative way. So we hear the relationships between notes and between chords. So what we can hear is, hey, that's the 1, that's the 2 chord, that's the 5 chord, and we're playing the 3 of the 5 chord over it. We hear in terms of numbers. That's a far more accurate way to define our hearing in music. And the letters are just because we need to translate it to our actual instruments and actually play a note. So, here are the basics of harmony. One last thing. You got some homework to do. If you want to get better at understanding these chords and actually being able to know what we're talking about when we're talking about chords, you need to learn to calculate this stuff. So let's try 1, 5, 6, 4, 6 is minor, 1, 5, 6, 4, in these keys, B flat, E flat, D, A, and D flat. And I'll reveal the answers to you at the start of the next lesson.